你好，我是套套。
我是蝈蝈。
Can you guess the language we have just used to greet? It must be easy for you to guess, right? It's Chinese. But is related to what we are going to present to you now? Yes, it is. Today we are talking about the ancient China. China, having a long and mysterious history, almost 5,000 years of it, was home to one of the four earliest civilizations found around the world. Civilization means an advanced state of human society in which a high level of culture, science, industry, and government has been reached. However, China is different from the other civilizations. The culture that developed in ancient China became the nation of China that exists today. Of course, there have been changes along the way, but the same culture has continued. The other three civilizations have been faded away or been completely overtaken by new people. For this reason, people say China is the oldest continuous civilization in the world. Like most other great civilizations of the world, China can trace her culture back to a blend of small original tribes which have expanded till they became the great country we have today. In China, the powerful families that control land became the leaders of family-controlled governments called dynasties. Chinese history from ancient times until about 100 years ago is divided by different dynasties. In her ancient period, China was alternately ruled by three dynasties, Xia, Shang, and Zhou, which are also the three main parts in our presentation.
First is the Xia dynasty. The Xia dynasty was the first dynasty in the Chinese history. It lasted around 500 years and included the reigns of 17 emperors. Zhu Mumen is the oldest hominoid in China and the oldest dynasty. The Xia people were farmers with bronzy weapons and clay pottery. One artifact called a bai seems to be a burial artifact. Bais have been found throughout Chinese history. Silk is one of the most important products China has ever created. Most historians agree that the Xia dynasty was producing silk clothing, though silk production may have started much earlier. According to ThoughtCo.com, the Xia dynasty mentioned in the ancient Chinese documents and legends was long thought to be a myth. In fact, some scholars believe that it was invented in order to validate the leadership of Shang dynasty, for which there is rich archaeology and written evidence, but there are some artifacts to support the existence of Xia dynasty.
Moving on to the next dynasty, which conquered Xia land and gained control of Chinese civilization. The Shang dynasty was originally a clan living along the Yellow River during the Xia dynasty. A clan is a group of very close families that are often viewed as one big family. The Shang dynasty lasted over 600 years and was led by 30 different emperors. The Shang were the oldest Chinese civilization to leave behind written records, called oracle bones, turtle shells, cattle shoulders, or other bones on which were written important clues to Chinese history. Oracle bones were often used to determine what the gods or nature wanted. If the kingdom needed to know something such as, will the king have son, or should we go to war, it would be carved into the bone or shell. They would then hit the bone until it cracked. The cracked lines would reveal the wishes of the gods, and an oracle reader, usually a woman, would do this job. This process of learning what the gods want is called divination.
Okay, we have reached the last part. The Zhou or the Zhou dynasty lasted longer than any other dynasty in the Chinese history. The Zhou time period is divided into parts called the Western Zhou and the Eastern Zhou, because there was a brief disruption in the control of the government. The Zhou battled with the invading armies from the North Mongolians. They built large mounds of dirt and rocks as barriers that would slow down the enemy. There was not the Great War yet, but the idea came before the war. The crossbow was another invention of this time. It was extremely effective and feared by enemy. During the Zhou, the use of irons was introduced to China, which begins the Iron Age in China. Iron-tipped weapons were much stronger, and the iron plow helped to increase the food production. Agriculture was usually directed by the government. All farming lands were owned by nobles. They allowed peasants to farm the land similar to the feudal system that developed in Europe in the Middle Ages. The government directed farming by dividing a piece of land into 9 squares in the shape of character for water well, with the grain from the middle square taken by the government. The individual farmers kept the square of grain in the surrounding squares and worked with the middle square together. This allowed government to store extra food in case of disaster struck.
During the Zhou dynasty, Taoism, also spelled Taoism, and Confucianism developed, the 2 most important Chinese philosophies. The great Chinese philosopher Confucius developed a way of life called Confucianism. Confucianism says that all people can be taught and improved if they do the right thing. People should focus on doing the right thing for others, make family the most important, and respect elderlies of the society. Confucianism is still important today, but it did not become widely followed in China until the Han Taoism symbol of Yin-Yang dynasty. The founder of Taoism was named Laozi. Taoism is all about following the Tao, which means the way or path. The Tao is driving force behind all things in the universe. The yin-yang symbol is usually associated with Taoism. Taoists believe you should live in harmony with nature, be humble, live simply without too many possessions, and have compassion for all life. These philosophies are different from religions because they don't have an all-powerful God or gods, although the idea of ancestors and nature are often treated like gods. The power of the emperor was also related to religious beliefs. The Zhou talked about the mandate of heaven as the law that allowed Chinese emperors to rule. It said that the ruler was blessed by heaven to rule people. If he lost the blessing of heaven, he should be removed. Things that proved the ruling family had lost the mandate of heaven were natural disasters and rebellions. For example, if a drought or flood was particularly bad, people may begin to think the ruling family had lost the mandate of heaven.
So Qi, could you tell me why is it considered a civilization?
Well, for me, it is because of the inventions. It shows the seeds of the future's originative and development in the human mind.
Wow, deep thought. I think simply because it created silk and crossbow, which is still used until now. What do you guys think? We have just shown you a video about ancient China. To sum up, we have 3 parts: the Xia dynasty, the Shang dynasty, and the Zhou dynasty. We hope that this video will help you guys know better about the history of China, as well as prepare for any upcoming exams. If you have any question, please let us know. Thank you for your time.